Hey guys, this is David Cruz with the Optimum Advantage Podcast. I got an amazing guest for you guys today. Her name is Vickie Aigner. She's the CEO and owner of Alive Fit and Free. So I'll just jump right into it. Vickie, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm great, David. How are you?
I'm doing good. So can you tell us a little bit about your company, like how this has started and what you guys do?
Yeah, so let me tell you what we do first, and then I'll go back to how it started. So
Sure, sure.
we provide fitness classes and wellness classes for seniors. And we have some specialty courses. We focus on dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's patients and caregivers, with an in-house system that I created called Energy Up. It works on the 4 pillars of health: mental, emotional,
Mhm.
physical, and energetic. And we strive to keep seniors alive, educated, feeling great, and living better for longer. And one way
Wow.
we do that with 55 plus people are to take them on adventure travels, cruises, trips, land trips, wellness retreats. So
Now, is this
we
for
feel
everybody
like
or is it like
this is
seniors in care kind of?
everybody can, no, no, no. So seniors in care, we do work with some seniors in care, but we work with also seniors that age at home, and then vibrant, younger seniors like myself, they're able to, still, live a very healthy and vibrant life. So our goal is just to keep seniors healthy and active for as long as they can be, no matter what age they are. If they're sitting in a wheelchair in a living facility, we work to get them healthy, happy, and still enjoying their life. And if they're young and vivacious and running marathons, we enhance that as well. So it doesn't really matter. And we work with younger people too. So just
Yeah,
putting that
it's
out there. You don't have to be a senior to try and keep up with us. Um,
It's weird to even use that word because it's like my mom is
I
she's
know,
gonna kill
right?
me, but she's 60 and it's just the youngest looking one. I mean, you too. I mean, it doesn't seem like when you
Thank
think
you.
of that word, it just seems like that's why
Well,
I asked about the
that's it. I
yeah.
know. So when I first started working in senior living facilities in 2017, so I was a hippie back in the 70s, lived off the land, did everything,
Wow.
back to earth, and had cervical cancer when I was 25. And I chose back then to heal it naturally. So at that point in time, we didn't have Whole Foods, we didn't have the internet, everything was underground. Um, and I got well and I got super passionate to help people realize that they could get healthy without having to go to the doctor and have surgery or radiation or cancer, chemotherapy. And so I started studying everything I could get my hands on and got into natural healing and fitness that way. And
Wow.
then I met my husband, fast forward, had 6 kids all at home, and he passed away in 2001 when we were
Oh, I'm
building
so
our
sorry.
home. And, our oldest child was 18, our youngest was 3 at that time, so I had to do something to support my family, so I
Wow.
went back into the fitness and the health coaching industry,
Yeah.
and, my way of dealing with his death was just to run from it, and I did that for about 5 years, and then I hit the wall and ran smack dab into it where I had to deal with that grief. I had
Wow.
stuffed everything, and so I found a self-development school that I went to, took my 2 youngest children with me, and it was a live, learn situation. You lived on a location, for 12 weeks, and then you went overseas and worked in a community for 8 weeks, and we had speakers every week that would come in, and what that taught me was for the first time in my life, I knew who I was as a person. Could accept myself for who I was and help me just get rid of all this stuff and just dump all of the emotions that I've held all my life.
Wow.
And it really set me free to know that, I could give people all the right foods to eat, all the right fitness moves to do, but if they weren't healthy and whole and healed on the inside, which is what Ken's death taught me, then I wasn't doing them justice. So I came away from
Right.
there knowing that I just needed to help people, especially women, mid-aged women, help people um, get healthy when their lives have fallen to pieces. It's like, here, give me your hand. I've been through this. I can help you. Let me share the tools that I have received and that work for me and help you get up and create a new life. You can start again. And so that's
Right.
kind of what spurred me on. So I came back from that experience and said, well, I'm just supposed to help people get healthy and happy. And I didn't know what that looked like. So I started working at Starbucks and would make coffee and talk to people and have a great time. And then I got back into the wellness profession and started coaching corporately, worked with a large Native American tribe tribe in northern Arizona for about 10 years and
Wow.
still ran my little company, but I didn't really do anything with it. I would research, write papers, and I just had it live.
Mm,
And in 2017, I started teaching line dance classes at a senior living facility. And that's how I
mm,
started working with seniors, and it was super fun, and one class turned into 5 classes, and I thought, "Well, I am having so much fun." I made flyers, and I would just drive around. Every time I would see a facility, I'd stop and take a flyer in, and pretty soon 5 classes turned into 20 classes a week, and, I had some people, and they wanted to work with me, and so I put together training courses for them. And during that time period, I always like to study and research and try things out to see if they really work or what the results are. So I had come upon a system and that was making a lot of claims that people were being healed mentally, emotionally, physically, and energetically. So I came up with
mm,
what I called the 4 pillars of health and started really researching that more and more so that we work out of all of those pillars with relieving stress and anxiety being number one pillar. Immediately in class, we take them out of the fight or flight, I call it the freak out nervous system, into the peace
mm,
out nervous system by releasing all of those feel good hormones. And the results that I was having with these seniors in the senior living facilities was phenomenal. And this class became their very favorite. So fast forward, my daughter joined my team in 2019, and we wanted to go virtual because she lived internationally and COVID hit. So we went virtual. And during that time, we ran about 60 classes a month with our senior living communities. We had a handful of seniors that were aging at home and had just a super cool community, started hiring instructors. And then when COVID was over, everybody wanted on site classes again. So we flipped the switch and went back on site. And started working with community centers run by insurance companies and 55 plus HOAs and the younger seniors. But what was so interesting when I started working with the seniors in the facilities, I really didn't like the way they were being talked to or marketed to. It was like, here, honey, you come sit down in this rocking chair on the front porch. And it's
oh,
like,
no.
wait a second, they're vibrant and they're full of life and energy. And then it was like, oh my gosh, I'm one of them. Because I think I was
Yeah.
I'm 72 now, and I was in my 60s when I started working, so I was like, "Oh my gosh, I really don't like the way they're being talked to." So we
Wow.
set out to kind of redefine what senior meant
Yeah.
and providing fun and energetic classes. So, about the last 3 years, we grew from 6 instructors to about 47 instructors on my team. We work all over Arizona, New Mexico. We have live virtual classes. We have a pre-recorded library on YouTube that people can access anytime they want. And then we started adding in dance and fitness travel adventures and wellness retreats because I love to travel. And it was like, what's more fun than taking a group of people with you and providing fun classes and doing those kinds of things. So, uh, along with that, we created last year, I was asked to create a program for dementia and Parkinson's people and caregivers. So we launched that last year in a beta stage and created some groups with Parkinson's patients and caregivers, and also dementia and Alzheimer's patients and caregivers. So that's kind of my baby at this point. I'm getting ready to do a big launch with that to reach more and more people.
Wow.
And again, have seen tremendous results with those communities.
And how did
So,
that
yeah.
differ from the other one? Like,
Um, so with both with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's slash dementia people, um, there's a disconnect in the brain between the neurons and the neurotransmitters, and there's a lot more, but just in a nutshell, there's
mhm,
a, a disconnect between the neurons and neurotransmitters in the brain that produce and or use dopamine. Dopamine is
mm,
one of the feel-good hormones that are part of the parasympathetic nervous system. So you have the freak out, the sympathetic that releases adrenaline and cortisol, and then you have what I call the peace out, parasympathetic that releases the feel-good hormones oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. So most people, unless they practice some sort of meditation or centering nowadays, because we live in such a high stress world, we're operating out of the fight or flight freak out nervous system with a continual release of cortisol And it's not good for us to eat brain, eats muscle tissues. We want to be living out of the relax, rest, and restore nervous system. And again, especially with Parkinson's and dementia patients, there's that disconnect with the dopamine usage in the body. So, what differs is that, number one, and number two, because that happens and because the brain is affected, there's sometimes a disconnect with short-term memory, and maybe they can't quite figure out how to do right across body moves or alternate hand and foot. I have one
Mhm.
particular person in the Parkinson's class. He said, "I hear what you're saying, but the time it takes me to respond, there's a disconnect with the way he responds." So it takes him
Mm.
a while. He hears it, but his response, either verbally or physically, is delayed. Or I had one man in class today, and she was telling me he's having a problem with right and left. So now it's a problem with right or left. And so sometimes, just depending on how it affects a person, I have another person that comes to class that has what's called dyskinesia, and she can't, her body goes like this all the time and she can't control it. And then I have other people in the Parkinson's class and they just have a little bit of a shake. So what
Mm.
we do is try and do moves, number one, to relieve stress and anxiety. Super simple moves. They can do this at home. They're fun, easy to do. We do that right off the bat. And then there are a couple of other things we do. We try and do a lot of cross body moves because when we cross laterally, it pulls right brain, left brain together. So it's functioning
Mhm.
as a whole. So they're not separate. It also helps to build new neural pathways in the brain. So as we've got those old pathways that may be shutting down and we're having memory loss, or maybe there's a disconnect, my theory, and it's important for me to say that, my theory is that as we're building new neural pathways, we have fresh pathways to think that maybe aren't like corrupt, so to speak,
Mhm.
and functioning the way they should be. So that maybe, just maybe, we can improve that memory, or maybe, just maybe, we can increase that connection so that everything starts working a little bit better. And then we work specifically with patterns and progressions with these two groups of people,
Mhm.
to the beat of a music, because music will also work to reinstate the proper cellular vibration within the body, because we know that music vibrates at different frequencies, right? And each
Mhm.
frequency affects something differently. So we do a lot of laughing, clapping, and smiling. Those are three ways that we release serotonin, oxytocin, and dopamine immediately, and those hormones will keep flipping, keep cascading for 45 minutes afterwards. So the first thing we do in class, we laugh, we clap, and we smile. And they are laughing before I even tell them to laugh. So we raise our hands up, we shake our hands, and say, bust out laughing, and everybody laughs. And we've immediately got us out of the freak out nervous system into the peace out. And then most all of the moves we do are cross body moves, and we try and get opposite hand, opposite foot going. And that's really difficult for everybody to do. A lot of people, no matter whether you have dementia, Alzheimer's, or Parkinson's, even regular people that don't have those issues, have a problem with getting the opposites going, because that flips our energy and makes it run in the right direction. So we do that. We work on balance and stability. We work on increasing muscle strength. We work a lot on getting up and down out of a chair, because a lot of times we get stiff in the hips. And if we can squat, we can stay mobile. So they do a lot of squats, a lot of hip hinges to get out of the chair. And we do that in most of our classes too, because everybody needs that, especially as we age. So it varies, because we are more targeted in the approach that we take.
Mm.
I'll go into class, and depending on who's there, if I see that somebody's all doubled over and we need to work a little bit more on the hips, we will. But basically, patterns and progressions are what we do in those classes, and really get in. We don't use weights. Sometimes we use balls and bands with them, and they like that. Ball is a fun way to exercise. You think you're just playing, but you're really doing targeting a whole lot of pillars. So yeah,
Wow.
super fun,
That's incredible. Yeah. I mean, you really
super
delved into like
exciting.
the exact like I guess, issues of what would help them out, and I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
clearly
yeah.
you have a lot of knowledge on the subject.
Thank you. Yeah, it's super. It's like I said, it's probably my favorite thing right now is to work with these people and see the results. We've started a Parkinson's group. We meet with 3 days a week, and we started in December. And let me tell you what, I kicked their butts today. I mean, we it was nonstop, and most of them were standing today. A lot of times they'll opt to sit in the chair. I know they can stand, so I had them up and I just kept them there. And it was like they were, it was just, yeah, super cool,
That's so beautiful. It's
so
when
cool.
you can work with somebody helping them out
Oh
and
my
to
gosh,
restore happiness,
amazing.
fulfillment. I mean, the level of fulfillment that you must have with your job or your career is incredible.
Yeah, yeah, it's just, I am so blessed and grateful to be able to do what I love to do. It's just fires me up.
Yes, I think it's really incredible, what you got going on, just
Yeah.
because, like, helping people that are in that position. My girlfriend does the same thing. She takes care of people that are
Oh,
disabled and stuff, and, like, it's not really till you get in close proximity with people that, like,
yeah.
regardless of whatever their thing is, you realize that there's, like, somebody there inside, and it's not till you're in
Absolutely.
that same position that you're like, "Oh my god, like, that could be me," and
Right,
eventually, we're
exactly.
all gonna get old, like, we're all gonna go through things, like, you clearly was you going through what was the main thing that kinda sparked this? Was it the that you had cancer when you were younger,
Um,
or you think it was before that,
no,
afterwards?
I always liked to kind of get people excited about stuff. I mean, I'm get enthusiastic. I dive into whatever I'm getting into just head first without really thinking about it. A lot of
Hmm,
times I get myself in trouble because of that. But when after Ken died and after the cancer really made me passionate about health and well-being. And then after he died, it really made me passionate because my whole life I felt like I never fit. I always flitted around. I could never sit still. I never thought I was like normal, you know?
yeah,
And after I had gone through that self-development school, it was like, "Oh my gosh, I it's okay. I can be me and I can like me and I can flit around as much as I want." And to have that sense of freedom and to understand who you are and then just to watch that unfold over the rest of my life, that was Ken died when I was 48, I think. And just to watch that journey of self-development and self-acceptance and watch that growth happen and to know that there are always layers that come off. There's always stuff that we need to let go of, but to grasp the fact that we can make this life be anything we want it to be, and it's okay. Circumstances can either cripple us for life and we can sit there and wallow in them and use them as an excuse not to live to our fullest, or we can say, I'll be damned, but that's gonna make me better than I was before. It's gonna build that character and that resilience inside of me, and I'm a firm believer that whatever we go through is not just for our benefit, but it's for the benefit of those people we come in contact with. And when
absolutely,
we
absolutely.
share our story and what we've been through with other people, that allows them to be free to share their story and be transparent and maybe work through some of the stuff that they're holding deep down inside.
Yeah,
Um,
and
in 2022, I was diagnosed with stage 2 rectal cancer. And that was a big deal because I had been cancer free for years and years. And this was a little
mhm,
fast growing. So I am not a medically based person. I try and do everything as natural as possible. But I chose to do 31 days of radiation and oral chemo. And
mm,
it was 5 days a week on, 2 days a week off. And I finished the treatments on one day. The next day, I couldn't get out of bed. The radiation had perforated my colon, and I went septic,
oh, no.
and was rushed to my daughters took me to the ER, and the doctor proceeded to say, you've got about 2 hours to live. I think you'll come out, but I'm not sure. So I came out of the surgery, and I mean, I've been teaching 10
Oh my
classes a week,
god,
vibrant, healthy, eat super healthy, and I
good
had
for
to,
you.
especially during the treatment, I had to, it was like hands off, back off of life. You needed to step back and let go of everything, go, what the is happening here? And really had to go, okay, I need to learn whatever lessons I'm supposed to learn here because I don't want to do this again. But when I woke up, I lived in a body I didn't recognize. I had tubes on one side, I was cut from pubic bone to sternum, and I had an ostomy. And I weighed 89 pounds. And it looked like I just got out of a concentration camp. I got home, I looked in the mirror and fell to pieces. But
Oh,
I
no.
knew if I could do the energy up, I would be fine. So at about 3 weeks out, I mean, literally could walk up and down my driveway with a walker and somebody next to me. When I got out of the hospital and then I had to go back to bed, I mean, it was just like I went, I have no idea what just happened. Who is this body that I live in, you know? And so I started doing the Energy Up program, which is what we call the programs that we use with the
Yeah.
key components. And within 8 weeks, I was lifting weights again. So
Wow.
I knew the power of it, and it just again spurred me on to be so passionate about, guys, I do this every morning. Get up, brush my teeth, wash my face, come down and do energy up. And then if I strength train, I strength train. And if I don't, I've already gotten my pillars in. And I know the power of what that does. So um I think those like I said, life experiences either make us or break us. What are you gonna do with it? Right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
came back
absolutely.
stronger than ever. I travel around the world. I do everything now that I did before, even with an ostomy. Um, it's not a big deal, you know?
No,
We just
that's
do what we can
absolutely
do.
yeah, that's so inspiring. I mean, and you could just tell just even from like the resilience that you have to just even be here talking, overcome it. And now that you're even sharing that with other people, I'm sure so many people could help, like
Yeah.
use this, in their own lives. And I
Oh,
that's
yeah. It was
yeah,
trust me, it was it was not something I wanted to share.
yeah.
It took me a while.
No, but I appreciate it, because
I knew I had to. It's like,
you know
why
Yeah,
not?
it does. It helps a lot of people, and you know what? Like, I believe it or not, like I have a similar story too, where like I dealt with addiction, and a
Wow.
couple years ago, I had like there was a year where I actually had died 6 times within that
Oh
year,
my gosh,
and
dude.
yeah, it just it gives you, after you come out of something like that, the recovery for that was kind of similar to yours, where like
Yeah,
my body was destroyed, weak, I
right?
couldn't get out of bed, like, I had no strength left. I like, even emotionally, I was, like, torn down because, you have to
Yeah.
kinda let go of everything of who
You
you
do,
are,
right?
what people
Yeah,
think of you, like, and then that rebuilding process, it's like, it coming out of something like that, it kinda gives you that's why I had asked you earlier about this, it kinda gives you an insight and a different level of empathy of, like, what people go through and how
for
important that
sure.
is to them,
And
and
didn't you find this too, that afterwards, it's like the bullshit barometer goes really high? And
yeah, it does.
no, seriously, and it's like
No,
before
yeah,
when you might used to go someplace because you felt like you should, or, we always taught line dancing, did a lot of line dance and stuff, and a lot of times that's at the bar, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but after the surgery and everything, it's like I couldn't handle being around that environment because I couldn't
yeah.
deal with the energy that was there, or being around people that something rubs you wrong. It's like that veil between what's seen and unseen kinda disappears, right?
Oh my god,
And it's like,
you literally
"Oh
nailed it, yeah.
my gosh,
It's hard
crazy."
even when you talk to people, you notice it, and it's like, you're not being
Yeah,
real right now, It's like even when I talk to
yeah,
you, there's like it's like freeing because you could know that, like, everything we talk about is it's genuine, and you don't have to
right,
worry about bullshit.
exactly.
Even, like, small conversations, we're just, like, sitting there, and obviously, we're polite, right? Like, I'm not just gonna be
Right,
like, "Whatever,"
right,
but, like, when you get into those surface level conversations with a lot of people that they don't even know that that's what they're doing,
exactly,
it really makes you wanna kinda, like, delve into deeper things like this because it's like, you
right.
wanna help whatever's
And
inside of
step
somebody.
back and protect your energy because you don't have extra energy to feed into that or to put up with that. I found myself just for a long time just preferring to be at home by myself, you know, because I didn't want to be around something that affected me in a negative way. So really interesting. But what I found through was too was working with the dementia and Alzheimer's patients are the caregivers are the ones that are kind of overlooked, forgotten group. And yeah, how bless their hearts. We had a conversation with a lady today. They just get thrown into this, and all of a sudden their spouse or the person they're caring for is diagnosed with Parkinson's or dementia, and
Oh
they have no
god.
training. They have no training, and they're just 24/7. And talk about burnout. In fact, I was just
Oh,
finishing my post for today on about caregivers on for social media, and It's just my heart just breaks for them, and so when they come to class, it's their time. I tell them, "Don't sit with your person. Just come to class and go over there and do your own thing, because this is your time to relieve your stress and anxiety and have space away from having to worry about your husband or your wife or whoever it might be." And,
That's so thoughtful. Yeah, I would've never yeah,
uh,
it's so easy to overlook that person. Yeah, when you're
so
caring for
easy to
somebody like
overlook
that.
that person, and I'm gonna tell you, talk about burnout. Oh, so that's, trying
I
to
mean,
figure out what else we can do for them,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that,
and God bless those people too, because, I mean, the level
oh,
of unconditional love, self-sacrifice you have to
right?
really devote yourself to somebody on that level is like,
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
whatever you
And the
got going
loving
on.
care they have for each other is really, I have 2 couples especially. One of them, the man sits right in front of me and she sits behind him, and, at the end of class, we get up and kinda dance around and stuff, and we had some music on, and he's pretty blind, so I have to sit right in front of him and tell him what to do, and he doesn't hear very well, but she walked by in front of him kinda doing a little dance, and he reached out and slapped her on the butt. Now he's 91, right? And it was like after
That's
after
awesome.
class, yeah, I was gonna say, and after class, she comes out and he goes, "I liked your little dance." And it was like, "Oh my gosh."
That's so awesome.
It was so cute. I mean, this is what I get to do every day. It's just the best.
No, that's incredible. I definitely and like I said, like we all get to that point, and it's just you gotta just pray you have somebody, who's gonna look you out hopefully the same way
That,
you look somebody else out,
absolutely.
and um, it's one of those things that just like you only have a certain amount of time, regardless of
Yeah,
and you never know what it is, and that's
you
what I
never know.
realized too with my whole thing is just like to that's why I don't even bars like how you said, I really it's hard for me to spend with, like, time being wasted. I used to love playing video games. I used to love, like, sitting
Yeah.
down and just, like, wait and now it's just it hurts somehow, I can't get myself
I
to
can't
do it.
tell
I'm
what
like, I need
to do. I can't just sit here and do nothing. Of course, we need to take
you
a
know
little for ourselves, but,
Mhm.
yeah, shutting that brain off is another story, but,
That's incredible. And can I ask you how about like as far as like your business have you had any problems scaling it? Because I know you're probably all over Arizona right now, right? Like
we are
you're
all over Arizona into New Mexico, so,
oh wow, so you're
when we
expanding.
first started, I wasn't a business person. I'd never started a business, just like, "Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. I'm just supposed to help people get healthy and happy. I don't know what that looks like." And so
There's a
then
balance you gotta
I
do.
mean, seriously, right? It was like, "Well, I think I should have a website. What should I call it?" And so I found this lady to build me a website, and when I was working for this company doing, consulting, it was really fun because I just got to drive around and work with corporate clients, and then I worked in Northern Arizona with the Wallapai tribe, and they own the
That's
west end of
super
the Grand
interesting.
Canyon. So, man, it wasn't that fun. I get to go up there, and we do the health risk assessments, and I hang out with the natives, or, and we did all kinds of challenges, and I did that for about 10 years with them, but I would research stuff, and we would do really cool projects with diet and all kinds of things, and so I would just
Ooh.
write articles and put them on my website. Like I said, I don't think anybody was ever looking at them, but it was fun. I was just having a blast. And and then I started teaching line dance and fitness, and then got into doing that again. I had been a fitness trainer for years and years, and then it just kind of morphed into that. And then like I said, I picked up that line dance class at the senior living facility, and just thought, oh, okay, well, I'll just get some more classes. So I did. And again, like I said, I'm not a business person. I'm just teaching classes and having fun. And yeah,
Very organic. Yeah.
fun, right? And then, like I said, in 2017, I started building the team, and then 2019, my daughter came on. Now she's has the business sense. She does business consulting, does all the tech stuff. So she came on and she wanted to run that side of it and turn it into quote a real business. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And I still get to just play and have fun. And I always say she's the beauty and the brains. I just get to play and have fun.
Oh, that's
And so
perfect.
we built a super platform. We connected with a company in Malaysia that built this wonderful platform for on-site online classes and stuff. But after that happened, she left and took just a advisor role with the company, and then I just started going back on site. So we had been working with a company that was funded by healthcare, an insurance corporation, and they had started community centers across Arizona. They had 7 here, some in some other areas in the United States, but it was kind of a passion project of one of their people, and it was a beta project. So they started running classes from 7 classes a day, 5 days a week, and they never charged for those classes. So anybody could come in and take these classes. We had taught some of those classes for them before COVID. So after COVID, they wanted us to come back and teach classes. So we started at one location with 2 classes, and then they opened up another location, so we took about 5 classes there, and I just started building my team. So I was running with about 6 instructors at that time, and so they would say, "Hey, do you have somebody that can teach Pilates?" "Yeah, let me get you somebody." And so I'd put an ad out and get somebody for Pilates. So I have a lady that manages the instructors and my scheduling. She's my brains behind the company. She tells me where to go and what I'm supposed to do every day. And then I have a bookkeeper. And I have a lady that does all of my events on Facebook and creates the thumbnails and all of that kind of emails, etc. And so we ran bare bones like that for several years. And
Wow.
then this particular organization had more classes that needed to get picked up. They went through a shakeup where their, front desk people were not teaching. They had their site directors were teaching a lot of classes. Well, they cut the second front desk person, so the site directors now could not teach those classes. I think this was in 23. And so we picked up a lot of classes from them, so we got super busy. And then they also asked us to do the dementia classes with them, but we were running about and then we expanded into Tucson, and we expanded into Albuquerque with them as well, so I built teams there. So then at that point, we're going, "Oh, we're turning into a real company here. We have, 47 instructors on the team." So during that
Oh my
process,
God.
and it came in groups, like, we went from 6 to 15. So then we started putting policies and procedures together because you start working with that many people and you better have those policies and procedures in writing. And then we also did in-house training because I want everybody using those key components to open up those four pillars of health. That's what makes my company different. That's what makes our classes different. We don't just sit there and move our hands and feet. We get up, we have fun, we're energetic, we laugh, we move. And so I kind of grew into I kind of grew into that role of being a business owner, leader, entrepreneur as the company grew. And it's a continual process, it never stops, right? And
Yeah.
then last and at in December, this our big company, we were teaching 40 classes a week for them. They went through a major
Wow.
shakeup in their organization, and they needed to do something to fund these community centers, so they totally changed their business model and cut their classes back, but they also stuck another person in at the front desk, so now their staff could teach classes. So they cut a lot of vendors out, and because we were their biggest vendor, we lost about half of our classes with them. And
Wow.
so we knew that that was rolling down the pike. I think I was informed in November. We knew some changes were coming, and so
Mm.
December and January, I really sat back and went, "Okay, what do I wanna do with this company?" Because I've always kind of flowed wherever it took me.
Mm.
I'll knock on doors, but if I'm not getting anything, I go someplace else. And then if a door opens or somebody will reach out to us because we have a really good reputation at this point. We get calls all the time for classes that need subbed, or, I just started reaching out to different contacts. But it was really like, so what do we want to do? I want to get those classes back up so that we have that income coming in. I can provide a good wage for my instructors. I pay my instructors really well. They deserve it. They work hard, they've got a lot of training, and you probably know as well as I do that people in the fitness industry don't get paid what they're worth.
No,
Um,
no.
and so, you go to a box gym and they're maybe getting paid $20 a class for a group fitness class, and
Yeah.
I pay them, triple that because they're worth it and they deserve it. And
Wow, that's
it
incredible.
was like, so let's let's get those classes built back up to where they were, but let's also really launch the Parkinson's and dementia programs because it's making such a huge impact on their lives. It's created their own little community for them. So they know they have a place to come and be, and this is theirs, and they're getting that socialization, which is such a huge part, of what that looks like. Um, so to me, that and picking up the travel end of it, those are my 3 prongs that fit under staying healthy and alive, living better for longer. So that's how we do it in those 3 areas. So I just wanna see all of those super expansive, and just reaching people and changing lives. So what that looks like, I don't know. We're working on it, pulling some stuff together on the back end, pulling all of our, we had a lot of pieces in place with tech, with our CRM and email marketing. And we kind of let a lot of that go when Sophie stepped back and I was leading classes and building the team. We kind of let the digital part of the company go by the wayside. So now we're working to pull all of that back together and connect all those pieces so that we can really reach the masses.
Yeah, yeah. That's incredible. Like,
Yeah.
and honestly, like your company is one of those ones that like, I talk to different people that they fulfill, needs and everything, but this is one of those ones that is just like it's a really feel good company.
Oh,
Like
thank
I really
you.
love everything you're doing. And
Oh,
I think everyone could definitely benefit from this, Vicky.
oh,
And
thank you so much. I
I
appreciate
really
it. It was
yeah, absolutely. And
didn't
I actually
started as a business, it's like, oh, let's just do this. I think this will be fun. And
yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? I actually, like I said, I come from a like a personal training background of it, and so like, like you said, like not a lot of people when you get into that industry, so like most of the people that I've seen do it because they have a passion for it.
yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's this is one of those things where the fact that you were able to turn this into such an incredible business and reaching so many
Oh,
people, I think is really amazing. And
thank you.
for anybody
I
that would
appreciate
like
that.
to find you, can you let them know kind of where
Yeah,
to
absolutely. So we have a website, Alive Fit and Free, and we also have a YouTube channel with some Parkinson's videos on it and some of our dementia videos, and then just some of our other pre-recorded classes. You can use them anytime, anywhere at your leisure. They're not just for seniors. I think if everybody started doing these moves when they were younger, we wouldn't have half of the issues we do now. But aside from that, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we have a Facebook, community group, we have a Facebook page that lists all of our classes. We're on, TikTok, we're on Instagram, Lemonade, um, LinkedIn, yeah. So we're
some
out there. You can find us. It's all Alive, Fit, and Free.
awesome. Guys, you know where to find her. Thank you. I'm actually gonna be checking you out myself to,
Thank you.
for my mother and everybody. But listen,
Yeah,
Vic, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the talk, with everything you shared. It was an absolute pleasure.
great. Thank you, David, for having me. It was so much fun. I enjoyed
Yep,
chatting with you.
me
Okay.
too. Thanks, Vicky. Bye.
Uh-huh. Bye.